Good morning. Welcome to Exploring Economic Development with MEDC. My name is Meredith Harris, and I am joined by my co-host this morning, Jillian Roberts. Good morning, Jill.
Good morning.
How
Happy
are
Wednesday
you?
morning.
What?
Happy Wednesday morning.
Oh,
We're off to a
great start.
phenomenal start. We're here in Marlborough, Mass.
It's our first podcast of 2025.
Yes.
Yeah. So excited to be here with you on this wonderful February morning.
You too.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So episode 48.
Yes, 48.
48. Can't believe it. We were just talking about how we're year 5 of doing this wonderful podcast.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you're new to the show, Meredith really needed a lot of convincing to do this live stream project. And I'm just really pleased to see your growth.
Thank you.
You've
I
done a
enjoy
phenomenal
it. It's
job.
actually one of my favorite things we do. So let's keep it going. Keep it going.
So if you're watching us live, we are streaming to YouTube, to Facebook, to LinkedIn, and also at WMCT TV, our local cable access channel, killing it here in Marlborough.
Mhm.
So you can interact with us by commenting. If it's relevant to the show, we'll bring you in and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have. If you have any ideas or any suggestions for future episodes or different people that we should have on, our contact information is on the bottom and we'd love to hear from you. Oh, we're also on Spotify. So if you're listening from Spotify, hello, how are you? Thank you for listening.
And I've actually had a couple people recently that have come up to us and said they're listening on Spotify, which is really kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we
So,
knew that
Super
for
fans.
sure.
We have lots of super fans.
So
Love
many
that.
fans.
Right.
We shouldn't be shocked by this. So episode 49. So last
48,
month, 48.
So 47 was a really great episode as well. We had Katie Perry from Technium on to talk about the work-based learning program that they have here in Marlborough. Unbelievable program. We were just talking
Absolutely.
about it before we jumped on, but really a unique opportunity for students in Marlborough to be able to actually go to a company in the city, learn hands-on about what they're doing. They are an IT cybersecurity company.
Yep.
There's some cloud stuff going on over there as well. But really a neat program that was modeled similar to the Patriot Ambulance program, but something that is able to happen through Mass Hire, YouthWorks, Marlborough Public Schools,
Yep.
a really great partnership between all of those individuals to create unique pathways for our students. So
Absolutely.
if you missed it, check it out. It's a really great episode.
You really check it out. Like what they're providing for our students, the investments and the mutual benefits for the students and for these companies. It's just, it's unreal.
It's awesome.
Yep. And it's only ever growing, right? I love the work that you're doing with our school system and with Youth Connects just to make sure that we're continuing to provide different opportunities for different students.
Yeah. And not to get too off track, but we're always looking for, additional industries or different companies that want to offer this type of unique partnership. I certainly wish that I had that opportunity when I was in school.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it took not until you got to college that you really started to understand what you wanted to do.
Right.
But being able to get
Internships
in,
weren't a thing in high school.
it's
Not
almost
really.
like a co-op type of thing. But being able to experience it before you're even out of high school is really kind of unique. So
Absolutely.
kudos to Marlborough and everybody involved. So, and Technium. Thank you to Katie for that episode.
Yes, she's awesome.
Okay. Let's jump into today's episode, episode 48. We have Ryan Gagne from Venture X. So welcome, Ryan, to the podcast.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning. This is going to be an even better episode than last month, right? We'll see.
We'll see.
We keep counting.
We'll do our best.
Right. That's awesome. Ryan, welcome. Thanks for joining us this morning. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Venture X, your company that you have here in Marlborough?
Well, we only have about 45, 50 minutes, so I'll try to do my best.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Ryan Gagne, born and raised and still reside in North Attleboro, but I came to Marlborough to open Venture X back in 2019.
Feels like a long time ago.
It does.
I know.
We're about to get into our, truly our 7th year of business
It's crazy.
in April. And I know it was just like yesterday that you and I met back in 2018 when I said, hey, I want to bring this flexible workspace business to you. And you said, great. What
does that mean?
Past life before Venture X, I was in global banking for about 20 years. I'm a Marine Corps combat vet.
Thank you.
Served in Persian Gulf during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and then served a bit of time after that while I was concurrent with college at Bridgewater State.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me back then, and about Venture X and kind of how my life and my experiences kind of
Yeah. How did you get
right
here?
Well, I originally worked in global corporate banking, which was, you know, cubes, high cubes, low cubes, trading desk, which if you've ever been on a trading desk, doesn't matter what flavor, equities or bonds or currencies like I was. It's the largest co-working desk you'll ever find. Hundreds of your closest enemies sitting next to you. I say colleagues, but it's a cutthroat business. It's
Never heard
truly
that before.
and you literally had 3 or 4 feet of desk, a phone, a couple monitors, somebody next to you on each side, behind you, in front of you, so on and so forth. And everyone working for the same team, of course, for the same business. And it was really you big immersion on just that whole element there. That folded over to working from home, and I worked home independently. I worked for companies in the U.S. and then abroad. In some cases, I never stepped foot into that office, the actual office.
And this is like way before COVID, right?
This is like, I started in 2003.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, people
Working in a
weren't thinking
remote
about
office.
working from home, right?
We didn't have even the tools like a Zoom now, or I say GoToMeeting because it ages me, just to show you, like, that used to be the tool to use.
What was it called? A go-to?
GoToMeeting.
So was this before Skype?
It was before Skype and
Yeah.
before Skype rooms, but you could. It was the first version of the Zoom
Yeah.
Okay.
or Teams, and it was before everybody else got into that whole thing.
Or even embraced it, right?
Really understood it.
Even understood it. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
And then from there, it kind of transpired. But I working remotely. I'd have to travel and go to offices, go into meeting rooms that were first time for me. Didn't even have Wi-Fi, or couldn't get Wi-Fi back then in certain circumstances, or any internet when you went in. So you were doing demos, and it was always like full of anxiety.
Sure.
You know, it's stress, getting to the place, finding the place, meeting with these people, going back and forth and traveling. And then as that kind of transfolded into another position, they still stayed remote and more remote. And I felt like that detachment from people that a lot of people will go through when they're working from home, the multitasking, as I think joked, I was on a conference call folding laundry, right?
No one's
Or
ever
making
done that.
lunch for my kids, you know, or whatever it be. And I came to find it was just like, you could get very productive, but then you could get also very unproductive. And, and situationally kind of bored, or, you know,
Lonely?
never leaving your house.
Yeah.
Lonely.
Yeah.
So in 2016 or so, I said that I want to find a business. I want to build something, do something for myself. I had enough of corporate and working hard for somebody else to get, you know, drippings off of the table. And I came into a business that was similar to Venture X, but it was a little too far away for drive and kids. And I'm a coach in sports, youth sports, and drive kids around to all of their afternoon activities and whatnot. So I said, that's too far. And the business broker that was showing me this said, well, what if you could put the business where you wanted to? I was like, I can't pick up this building and all these customers and move them
somewhere else. Yeah.
How? And he said, well, Venture X. And he showed it to me. And I started looking at it in 2017. It was a brand new franchise. So we're a franchise business.
Where did it start, Ryan?
Naples, Florida.
Okay.
And that's a business mecca in the United States. If people didn't know it, it's not.
I was like,
it is a retirement
I had never
community.
heard that.
I have grandparents that lived there at some point.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't
where
remember
everybody's friends, parents, and Uncle Murray go and retire.
Not start a business.
Not start a business. But
Business
the
mecca.
father and son, David and Brett Diamond,
Okay.
and hence the diamonds on our
Okay.
Venture X logo.
Yep.
That's kind of where the symbolism comes back to. Brett was graduated college in the early 2010, 2012. Went to California for a couple of years and was working in a co-working business out there as like a user, not the business in itself, but he was working for a company that had to use the co-working space. And he went back home and he said, Dad, we have to get into this.
We got to do this.
His father is a large-scale developer, high-rises, predominantly in the Tampa, St. Pete area. And they said, okay, well, what do you need? And he's like, office space, build offices, put in meeting rooms, put in furniture, make it really cool,
Couple
really
coffee
nice,
machines. Yeah.
awesome coffee machine, great,
Mhm.
Wi-Fi, and have people come in and just rent out individual spaces. They opened a spot. It was about 7,800 square feet and filled it up immediately
That's awesome. This is in Naples.
in Naples. So
Interesting.
they're like, well, if we could do this in Naples, we could do
do it
this pretty
anywhere.
much anywhere.
Yeah.
No shot to Naples, but it's
Right.
just it's
Yeah.
a retirement community.
Yep.
And they connected with the United Franchise Group, who is now the franchise owner of the business. UFG, as we refer to them, they're the franchisor for Sinorama. So
Okay.
and a number of other companies, one of which just opened in Marlborough and had their grand opening yesterday, Gray's Craze.
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
I
Yep.
think I might have mentioned to you, this custom charcuterie board business. Anyway,
Which
you
is awesome, by the way.
oh,
Who doesn't like a good charcuterie
I'm
board?
ordering them in like every other week.
Are you really?
For our members to try them.
That's
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
no, it's not good. I can already see. I was like, ooh, salami.
Hey, it's a good shout out for them, right?
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
But United Franchise Group came in. They, because of the diamond connection in the construction, they brought in Gensler out of New York, who's one of the world's largest and renowned interior design and architectural firms, to actually design the workspaces, basically package it up for our own brand standards and identity.
Because is it the same all around the country?
Yeah.
The yellow,
Yep. The floors, there's 2 types of floors. There's only 4 colors of paint that you can use. It's just like if you walked into any franchise eatery or anything other, like
you know where you are.
You know where you are when you walk in.
Branding is so important.
It is.
Yeah.
And the branding and just the floor tiles, the seating, everything, it's all the same. So fast forward to today, United Franchise Group owns 3 different co-working brands, where collectively under what they call the vast co-working network, which is owned by United Franchise Group, we have about 250 locations worldwide.
Wow.
Across the 3 brands. We're the largest franchise co-working business in the United States. We're the second largest co-working business in the United States collectively. We're bigger than WeWork in the United States, which most people know WeWork from co-working. They opened a location in Worcester last year. There's a location in Holyoke. There's a number of them looking to put someone in the right place. It's got to be in the right place. Marlborough's a great city for it.
Sure.
Very convenient, very accessible. And the government is very much behind pro-business, which we love. From there, but back to it, so in 2017, I started doing the due diligence on the business. And then, fast forward.
You guys were the first in Massachusetts?
I was the first one north of Richmond, Virginia.
I thought so. Yeah. That's so awesome.
Yeah. And we filled in some gaps in between since then.
Sure.
But in 2019, we were like a lone outpost
right
here in northern United States.
All right. So for folks that are watching that might not even know what we're talking about, what is co-working?
Great question. Co-working is, I guess it's the easiest way to put it is its use of a workspace that's not necessarily your company's or your businesses or yours as an individual. And at Venture X in Marlborough, here in the Apex Center, what we have on the 16,600 square feet of floor space is 54 private office suites. They're 1 person all the way up to 8-person team rooms. We also have 4 private meeting rooms, 3 of which are filled out high tech, big screen, big TV, all the accompaniments with that, conference phone, hookups for your own computers, whiteboard walls, the whole 9 yards in there. And then we have a 24-person training room that we built with aid of MEDC's Toolbox. We opened that back in 2023. And then we have a 2,000 square foot lounge, which I think if you can pop over, you can see on that right-hand side picture there. It's got a 18-foot long calf bar, cafe seating, lounge area. And for somebody that's has a substantial need daily or a couple times a week, or even just a one-off now and then, they need a place to work. Can't work from home for whatever reason. They don't have the space. They need to
Too
get out
many
of their
distractions,
house.
too much laundry folding going on.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Their internet goes out that day.
Sure.
I mean, we've had people come running in at 9:15. They're like, I have a 9:30 Zoom and a backhoe is torn up my street.
Yeah,
I have
I
no
need help.
internet now. We're like, come on in, sit down.
Yeah.
We have 5 private phone rooms as well. People can come in for as little as an hour, as long as a lifetime with us.
I love that. That's a great slogan.
Yeah. And they can, whatever their need is. So if it was a company, said 2 people, but one is constantly on the phone, well, then here's 2 single offices. We normally do like a 6 or 12-month term contract. So it's not a lease.
Yep.
And it's very much different than traditional office space where you're responsible for everything. We provide everything other than your laptop.
So you literally can walk in you can get a small office, you can get a bigger office. You go in, everything is readily available to you. You plug in, you start working, and then when you want to use the coffee room, all these things are available to you.
Yep.
And you don't have to maintain any of it.
Nope, they don't
Right.
maintain any of it. The private offices are cleaned on a daily basis by another local, well-known and respected cleaning company from Modular Concepts.
Love Luis. Shout out.
All right, shout
Love
out
that
to
shout
Luis and
out.
his team.
Yes.
People come in and they're like, "Wow, this place is beautiful. It's so clean." And they're like, "How long you been here?" And I was like, "Since April of 19." And they're like, "This place is like 6 years old almost. It looks
Yeah.
brand new."
Yeah.
And that's part and parcel. My team and Modular, we keep it up there. But the place is cleaned on a daily basis. We have redundant fiber connections out for the internet. And they're
Good.
ours and ours only in our building. Everyone else in the building shares their own elsewhere. So we have our own independent there.
Mm-hmm.
Your HVAC, unlimited fresh brewed coffee.
Yeah. It's
It's-
good.
And the coffee's on demand. It brews the cup right there for you. And then everything else that goes along with it, access to a lot of the space.
And you guys have done a really nice job. And obviously it's part of the franchise, but like the artwork, like it's such an inviting space.
Yeah.
Well, the artwork is actually, that's ours.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a local, Joyce Kruger. She is an artist out of Southborough, I think.
Yeah.
She came in and we started renting the artwork and
Yeah.
swapping it out. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I really like that. Can I just keep this? And
Yeah.
we made the purchase. So a lot of the artwork is all on
I mean,
our
it's
own.
beautiful. You walk into the space, Jill. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's so inviting and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's really modern. And so if you're on that Zoom, you don't feel like you're in some, dark, dingy place. You're in a really nice space.
Yeah.
And you also have folks, larger rooms, things, but you can even just have a PO box with you guys, right? Even if you just need an address or
A virtual office. We don't like the term PO.
Okay, fair
Because
enough.
we are not a post office.
Got it. A virtual. Okay, fair enough.
But
it's a virtual office.
Legally speaking, we
Yep.
are a commercial mail receiving agent. And so the long term, what does that mean? That means that the Postal Service has blessed us and acknowledges us.
Mhm.
And when people sign up, they give us the rights and permissions to receive mail on their behalf.
Receive their mail.
Yeah. So individuals, somebody that maybe has some mail theft problems at their house,
Mhm.
or they travel a lot, they need packages and stuff received for them and held,
That's great.
all the way up to a large company. We have people that work from home,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to compromise their home's identity
Sure.
and with their business.
Right.
They want that separation of work and home. Pricing ranges, but you're talking, $10, $15, $50 a month, depending on what your level of service is,
Yeah.
for this privacy.
And then you can come in
Yeah.
and use, like, if you had a meeting, because I remember, I think it was Capital Strategic Solutions, Nicole and her group,
Mhm.
that did that type of service. And when we had a meeting with them, we were able to go and use the
Yep.
space, and just really cool, the
Wow.
different levels of companies that are in your space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 4 main levels of membership, virtual offices, and then we have what we call a community desk, which is the traditional co-working desk. You just go in 8:30 to 5, flip open your laptop, plug in on the tabletop power there, and make use of the space. And it's very flexible. People that might float from home to work, Some days they want to get out of the house. They
Yeah.
want to interact. Might
So
be
you're
a
not getting an office. You're just getting a space.
you're just getting access. Yeah.
Okay.
Might be a food event. Like yesterday, we had a yogurt bar. So we set up, all your yogurts and all the stuff that goes, fruits and granolas and everything else like that. Literally, people came in. They're like, "Oh, I saw the sign. There's a yogurt bar today, so I'm here to work." I was like, "Yeah, you're here to work."
Can't blame them.
No, I don't blame it.
That's why you do it,
That's
right?
why we do it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's, so what we're trying to do is more than just give somebody a space to work. Like
Yeah.
you could go to a local coffee shop and sit there and you sit on their Wi-Fi
Sure.
and do the same thing, but it just doesn't have that.
It's a different experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's less personable.
Yeah.
Our space members interact. We do, and we're actually going to kick it off for later this month. The Four Diamonds to Success series, where we're bringing in guest speakers once a month to touch on a number of different personal or business related topics.
That's awesome.
And it's not only, of course, is it free for members, but it'll also be free for non-members.
Wow.
Gives people a chance to come in to
See the space.
see the
Yeah.
space, hear what's
Mhm.
going on. Typically, there's going to be a little bit of food action going on there as well because food makes friends.
Any
Right, right.
charcuterie this time?
I don't know if it's charcuterie. I think it's actually Jersey Mike's Day.
Ooh,
So we're
okay.
getting Jersey Mike
That sounds
subs.
So you're supporting a lot of local business too.
Oh my God! If
Yeah.
I love
I-
that.
Purple Pig,
You've named like
Firefly,
5 organically, which
Yeah.
is great.
We're getting chill in there this year to do something. Of course, Chick-fil-A because they're right next door, so it's
Yeah.
really easy to.
Yeah.
That's a gimme there.
Yeah.
You name it. A couple of
I love it.
it's well we do it for 2 reasons. One is it's in our our business model to help create community and for members and non-members coming in, mingling like that, having these types of events. But 2, we're a big proponent for small businesses. We're a small business,
You always have been.
so
Yeah.
yeah. And from that side, if I've got to go and buy food, and I'm gonna spend the money somewhere.
Might as well do it here.
I'm going to try to pepper it across the city as best I can.
I mean, that is the heart of economic development, right? I
Yeah.
mean, is to bring in companies that are we say all the time, the big fish feed the small fish, right? But
Mhm.
here we have a small fish feeding other small fish. And I love that. That's really awesome.
Well, and I know it's nice as members are like, oh, where did this come from?
Right.
And we're like, oh, this was from here. And we'll put up signage. They'll give us flyers, maybe coupons or something,
Yeah.
whatever they have to help promote it. And next thing you know,
Right.
you see their label again in the office space, which is great because
Which is
people
great.
just don't know.
Mhm.
Our members is about 45, probably about a 45-mile radius of Marlborough. So I have
Okay.
people coming from as far as the North Shore and people from as far as the South Shore
Wow.
and like past Grafton that way.
Wow.
Wow.
Some Leominster folks as
Mhm.
And
well. So-
what's your, how full are you guys right now? How much space and what's the turnover or what does it kind of look like?
Well, right now I think we're about 85% occupied.
Wow.
Oh, that's low.
That's low. No
we're at our
kidding.
lowest point since August of 22.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually in 23, in 24 we averaged just about 95% occupancy,
That's incredible.
which is my goal. I
Yeah.
don't want to be 100% because at 100% I have to say no
Yeah.
to somebody. I can't help
You don't want to do that.
Well, last thing I want is them to say, "Oh, don't go there; they're full." Because
Right.
turnover, which I think it was your next question, is it happens.
Sure.
Companies grow,
Which is a good thing.
which is a great thing.
Right.
And I've got some amazing success stories. I like to, or at least I call success stories for companies that came into our workspace and, said, "Hey, I need an office."
Right.
Mhm.
And the next thing they said is, "I need another office. I need a bigger office." And then I said, "We need to leave.
Yeah.
We're too big now.
Yeah.
We want our own space
Yeah.
for
Hmm.
whatever reason."
Which is huge. I mean, so that's where I think the relationship between our two organizations is huge, right?
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, for folks watching, know that that's what we do. We try
Mhm.
to attract and retain companies in the city, but you guys have been a great feeder system for us that once the company does grow out of your space, we're happy to say, hey, look, bring them to us and we'll help them find a little bit of a bigger space. And that's happened a couple times.
Couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
Boundless
Yeah.
energy, I think is.
Yeah.
I love to showcase those guys.
Yeah.
And what it was this 5 gentlemen walked into my office in the heat of COVID, like June of 2020. And one I had recognized, I saw him before we had opened. He was having a meeting at one of the eateries in the Apex complex.
Okay.
And I said, why are you having this business meeting here? I gave him my card. I said, you ever need an office? We open in a couple months. Come
That's
on up.
great.
And I was like, what are you guys doing? He says, you told me to come up if I need an office. I was
I
like,
need an office.
I was like, oh my gosh, great. It was
That's
it was
great,
right in
yeah.
COVID. So like business was not doing great. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is cool. So the 5 of them were like, we need an office. I was like, well, have your pick basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They took one office, then that turned into 2. Then they needed to do in-person training for their door-to-door sales team. Their company now has grown. They went from 2 offices to 3 to 5 to 6. And at about 6 offices when they were housing about 20 something people and doing training for, I think it was 5 days a week for somewhere in the area of 40 people. We were splitting at the seams to service
Support them,
and
yeah.
to support them. And they said, we're gonna go elsewhere. And I said, okay, stop before you go anywhere. Call Meredith.
Which is, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's great.
And they actually stayed within the building. They just moved over to the same
Right.
floor as us into an adjacent space. And they took that today. And I just talked to them back just before Christmas. They're in 14 states. They have about 400 plus employees.
Wow, what a success story.
They're doing over $20 million a month in sales.
It's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember touring the construction site, right?
Mm-hmm.
And former Mayor Arthur Vidgen and I walking through, and I remember leaving and saying, I wonder how this is going to work. Like, we had never seen anything of this scale, and is there demand for this type of thing? And clearly there is.
There is.
Yeah.
And it's people are like, oh, who do you have in here? I was like, well, I have what you'd expect. I have some accountants. I have some financial planners. I have a few lawyers, and they're like, okay. And then I was like, well, we have IT, we have cyber IT, we have IT support, we have developers, we have this, we have that. And then it's like, oh, what else? And I was like, well, I have a trade show company.
So cool.
I have an exotic car dealer.
I know.
Of course you have an
Of course you
exotic.
do.
Of course
Yeah.
you have a
Obviously.
I was
Who
like, because
doesn't?
when your business does so well and you want to buy that Maserati, you go
got it.
talk to
You
him.
know where to go.
And in marketing companies
Yeah.
and it changes. It was kind of funny. At one point, we had 4 different solar companies in the space when Boundless was there. They were not competing.
Yeah.
They had all solar, all alternative energy. They had different aspects to it. Right now, it seems as if we are picking up more lawyers.
Okay.
And what it is that they're solo practitioners. They need the space. They need the support, but they don't need a full-time support person. They need somebody that's going to receive in their mail and packages,
Yeah.
maybe get something hand-delivered or leave something for a signature.
Sure.
They need a notary, which we provide for them.
Oh, that's
So we're
wonderful.
giving them that little bit of support. So when they get up and they go down the street to the courthouse, because being in Marlborough and the courthouse, kind
Oh
of
yeah.
nice combination there. They have that. They know that if they leave something to be signed, that our team can say, somebody comes in, I need to sign this. Here you go.
And
please
they
sign.
will.
That's
we'll
so
take care of that.
convenient. Yeah.
They don't have to pay for a full-time staff person.
Right. And so they're not, it's almost like a networking opportunity for them, right? Being with the other companies that are competing, but that's really cool being in the same space. And
Yeah. Well, and they're all different. They
they
all
have
practice different
different
stuff.
services,
So it's nice. They all go out and there's no fighting in the
No,
in
they're
the
learning from each other.
volunteer
Yeah.
area.
Do we have a question?
We do. We have. You're not going to believe who is entering the conversation this morning. President Ossing.
President Ossing.
We
Love
called
it.
it beforehand. We said that you're our number one.
It's our number one fan.
Number one fan. So
Mhm.
President Ossing's joined us this morning and says, hello, Meredith, Jill and Ryan. Venture X is a tremendous asset for
It
Marlborough.
really is.
And he's following that up with the question, how long does your average tenant stay? And how do businesses find your location? Great question.
Great question. Minor correction. We don't have tenants.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have members.
Yep.
And
Yeah, because they're not subleasing.
we
They're
don't do
signing a
any
contract.
leasing or anything
Yeah.
like that. And more to that, tenants, you don't have it is a landlord-tenant relationship in most cases, and it's basically just it's purely a transactional
Yeah.
relationship. We have a membership,
So it's much more of a.
it's very more personal. Never, not really overreaching, but it's just that,
Yeah.
I'm in the space a lot of days unless I'm doing awesome, podcasts like this.
Here at the MEDC.
Or I'm on vacation, which I just
Mhm.
came back from. But when I am not doing those two things, I am in the space, and so is my my team. And so
And
from
they trust you, right? You become part of the team. Yeah.
yeah, we do, and we want people to feel that welcome. It kind of goes back to when I worked from home, and yeah, I had a wife and kids and the dog, but it was like that business just relationship, just talking with somebody. Hey, did you watch the game last night? This, that,
It's important.
It is, and then me as myself as a business person, I have those conversations with people like, hey, did you get that funding, or
Right.
how is that show going for you?
You learn from
we
other
learn
folks.
what they're doing, and
Right.
some people are doing some amazing things out of our space, and it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And it keeps up the excitement for them, I imagine, too. Not that you're there to keep them accountable, but just knowing that there are other business professionals in the space that are invested and care about what you're doing. I mean, just being around other people, I always say, like, success breeds success, productivity breeds productivity. So being around people that are there intentionally,
Right.
having those little questions, those little interactions, is super motivating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to get to the point of the question, the turnover, because of COVID, I stopped trying to track it because it was just, it was depressing.
We like good news, right?
I like good news. So, let's not put the spotlight on the red numbers.
Right.
But in all seriousness, we are, and we did change our management system that we could use to track that last year. So this year we're going to start tracking that. But if I was to walk around the space and point, we have members that have started with us in April of 19, April, May of 19.
They're still there.
They're still there.
Wow.
And in the meantime, we've turned, the business has probably turned over, I'd say somewhere in about 150 to 200%. So out of all of those offices, we've got some that have, years of membership with us, and others that have sometimes short. And it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just because we serve a purpose in those cases.
Right.
Synopsis, for example, who built their building right next to us just after we opened. And I still shake my angry fist at all of the construction noise and the giant crane that was propped up out there.
So I've got a picture up here. It's right next to you here, right?
Right.
Yeah, that crane is not that you see on the left hand there. That was after our building was built. But that's in probably May of 2019.
Yeah, because they did 2 phases.
They did it in 2 phases. And we actually had one member who sat out front and had these giant steel beams and concrete 20-foot long slabs picked up and swung right over there, like brought them right up and over their window and put them in place. And they came out pale white one day. I was like, "You okay?" And they're like, "No, I have to go home." I'm just seeing all of these
little nerve-wracking
giant steel beams and concrete slabs getting hoisted and like coming right over my window. And I'm like, I can't take the stress.
A new phobia discovered.
New phobia unlocked.
That's funny.
But from that though, like somebody might come in, like I said, with synopsis, and they said, "Our building's not ready. We have to get out of the building we're in.
Yeah, we need somewhere to go.
We need someplace for 2 months."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, somebody says, "Oh, that's going to hurt your, the turnover." No,
not really.
That's our business.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm talking right now with another company that's building construction business that's building or having a building built in Westboro, and they're making all the employees right now drive to Natick.
Wow.
And I was like, guys,
I got a better solution.
I got a better solution for you. Just the time and the gas that you're losing driving into Natick with all of Mass Pike construction and everything.
Yeah.
One day Mass Pike will be nice for a week, and then they'll find
We'll
a
get
new.
Jason Palich to come on. He'll
If we
he'll
could,
make
yeah.
us feel better
Yeah,
about the
we could.
bike.
Oh, it's gonna be great. When it's done.
That'd be great someday.
Someday.
Yeah,
But
someday.
but so that it all comes down to what their need is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes
And you like all of them, right? Like, all
So
the
many
different
use cases.
scenarios.
Yeah.
Right.
It's and it's great because I've had companies come in and they're like, look, we're not sure what we're gonna do right now. Buy, build. Well, I go back. Had a German-based company that they hired a CEO. He lives in Northborough.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I need an office. They said, okay. He found an office, came to us, stayed here for a year. At the end of December, he said, we're parting ways and we're going to go and find some permanent space. He sent me an email yesterday. He said, Ryan, what do you have for offices? We have to sign a 3-year lease and we're not sure if we want to get that far into it
Yeah.
right now with the building that we were looking at renting space from. And I said, yeah, well, you can sign 6 months with me.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
And
There you go.
he's coming back.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So, I kind of like that too. because-
So how is it different from incubator is another word that's thrown around a lot. How is it similar and how is it different?
Well, it's similar, and we provide space
Mhm.
and we provide the infrastructure, your internet, your electric, your cleaning, your heat, all of that in, our incredible fresh brewed coffee and then that's where it starts to deviate a little bit. I know the Worcester Business Journal, we were 3 years in a row, best incubator space.
This year as well, right?
This year we are best co-working space.
Okay.
They changed some of the titles of some of the awards.
Okay.
But we do have 4 plaques on the wall from the
Love
Worcester
that.
Business Journal.
Love that.
But the incubators truly, their purpose isn't just the space. What they typically have is you'll see inside of that, you'll see some type of venture capital firms, you'll see some intellectual property lawyers, you'll see some patent or copyright lawyers, you'll see some other tech folks and investors, just pure, true investors. So I wouldn't say that they're setting a trap, but what their service is we'll give you space. We may even give you money and pay you and give you the additional support of legal or finance or something to that extent so that you can take your little idea and grow it.
Yeah, incubate the idea.
And much like the CIC or other incubators that are out there in the workspace, it was, it's a high risk model.
Yeah. And so John Weaver, MBI, he's a, good friend of ours as well. Like they're providing equipment too, right? Like sometimes it's these 3D printer, very specific equipment to the type of businesses that they're trying to incubate. Is that correct?
Yeah. And a lot of times there's something on the tail that they're catching, whether it be some type of preferred shares or some type
Something
of
else.
ownership out of it.
Okay.
Which I don't fault. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to. There's a few companies in my space right now. I was like, geez, I wish I could have gotten into them. They're doing really, amazing, but
Right.
that's not my
Not your
business.
model.
That's not my model.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
My model is, give people, a place that they love coming to work for,
Right.
because the concept, and I drill this repeatedly into my team. And right now we have a UMass Lowell rising graduate, and she's gonna stay for her MBA. So hopefully we'll have her for a couple of years while she's working on that. When I was just drilling into her the other day, and I was like, you really have to think of this. Most people, when you go to work, you get paid to go there,
Yeah.
right? Physically or
Mhm.
conceptually, whether it be at home or in an office space,
Mm.
your employer is giving you in exchange your labor, your efforts, your intelligence for money.
Right.
Ours is different
Yeah.
in most cases where these are independently owned companies,
Yep.
or their own financially backed companies that there's ownership to them.
Mhm.
They're giving us money to come to work.
Yeah.
They are still getting paid for it,
Sure.
but they're making this conscious
They're
decision.
making an investment, right?
They're making
Yeah.
an investment.
Yeah.
They need a place to work. They're giving us those funds for us to provide that level of service that's expected so that they can be successful.
And
Mhm.
productive.
And I was like, that's when you take it to that concept,
the core of it.
that core, you're no longer tenant and landlord.
Right.
Yeah.
my landlord, as much as I love him, I'm sure he doesn't sit up at night wondering if I'm going to be successful or not.
Right.
I don't think I sit there
different.
myself. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's different.
he's not popping in to say, hey, what's going on, and check in with me, or to,
Yeah.
say, hey, we've got free lunch today.
What's really
I
interesting.
know we need to figure out when the free lunch is, though.
We do. If
I'll
we could
send
just
you the
be looped in on that calendar, that'd be great. What's interesting for me as a small business owner myself, I do a lot of subcontracting where I'm producing live streams or podcasts like this. And for me, the redundancies are so important when it comes to special events. So I've done live streams where I have like hundreds, thousands of people watching. And if my internet goes out, I'm done, right?
Mhm.
And so
Big trouble.
it's that extra level of security that I know for sure you've got the redundancies in place. My upload speed's going to be what it needs to be, and it's a clean, beautiful environment. I don't have to fuzz out my background. Like I can come in with my laptop, a webcam or a camera, and just go
It's
for
like
it.
it's
right?
turnkey.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I mean, for people that are doing live streaming video production, that entrepreneurial mindset, the creative mindset, like being around other people that are creative or focused on business kind of really can help you laser focus, but then also having all of those amenities that are just so important.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is. And and we take it. We're unfortunately not me personally, but I think just
Yeah.
everyday Americans, we take a lot of this for granted.
Yeah.
For sure.
That the internet's going to be fast.
Yeah.
this is
And when
gonna-
it goes down,
Yeah.
people are
and people are like,
panicked.
what?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not everyone has a home office, right?
Right.
I've got 4 kids. My home office is a corner of my bedroom, right? Like that's it.
And it might be
So-
loud at times, right?
Could be loud.
Could be
Yeah,
loud.
it gets loud. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
believe it or not, we're almost out of time. It goes by so fast. I know,
Oh.
believe it or not.
Aw.
But before we let you go, I do want to hit on a couple of other points. So why did you choose Marlborough? So you're not from Marlborough, right?
No.
That you don't live here. Why did you choose our wonderful community to be a part of?
Well, initial it was eye appeal.
Okay.
So I had a great broker who brought me around, drove me through some neighboring cities and towns. I won't
Mhm.
name them,
Mhm.
not to shame them. And then we came through Marlborough and looked at a few different locations.
Yep.
And we stopped at 11 Apex and walked out onto the floor space. At the time, it was brand new build. If they
Yep.
call first generation, so
Mhm.
there was no
Right.
walls, there was nothing. It was exterior windows and an elevator.
Oh.
And we walked out and we walked over and overlooked the 47 acres at the Apex complex.
Beautiful.
And it was like June,
Yeah.
and it was mid to late day, so the sun was hitting the Northborough hills pretty well. And I looked at him, and his name's Kevin. I asked, Kevin, why'd you waste up my whole day? And he says, why? I go, we're a mile off of 495. We're 5 miles from the Pike. I've got a dozen eateries here within walking distance. I've got even more across the street.
Yeah.
I've got it. I was like,
It's all here.
this
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
And then, I went back and did some diligence on the city, and Mayor Vision was pro-business,
Yeah.
the MEDC, which you guys are leaps and bounds ahead of most cities and towns in Massachusetts with regards to supporting small businesses
Yeah.
and growing.
And sticking with you, right?
And sticking
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
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 Well, I think it's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
So you didn't forget me, and I haven't forgotten you.
Absolutely.
From that side, and we're supporting each other, and I see that
Right.
with so many other businesses in the city. So I was like, no, it's a good town. It's a good city to
a good
be in.
place to
It's
be.
the right place to be.
Yeah.
I love that planted question,
It is.
Very subtle.
It really is. It's you can get anywhere from here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a lot of access. That's what I'm hearing from you is access, right? And
Right.
especially in your business where you're bringing, I'm not going to call them tenants, but you're bringing in your
Members,
businesses
yeah.
that want to grow here. What more do they need? It's all within
Right.
walking
Well,
distance,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, from that side. But then more importantly, so because of all of the meeting rooms and training room that we have and all of that non-member business,
Right.
Mhm.
they come in where people are like, oh, I have to, I have a meeting at your space. How hard is it to get there? I was like,
It's
oh,
not at all.
here are the directions.
Right.
In fact, if you use the Waze app, you can just search Venture X Marlborough. It's going to drop you at the front door.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So we've even got to that extent to doing that.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
So we have on the screen too. So this is you call it the training room, right?
Yes, that's our boardroom and slash training room.
Slash training room. And so Ryan and his group is actually a recipient of one of our Toolbox programs a couple years ago, helped support this initiative. Can you tell us a little bit about why that was helpful and what it really has done for Venture X?
Well, yeah. So, and when Building B, which is the 5-story adjacent to us, was built, there was this wedge of a floor space that was not taken by Synopsys.
Yep.
Still don't know why they didn't, but I thank them daily. And we were already in 2019 having this demand for larger meetings. Our largest meeting room at the time was 10 people. I'd get phone calls. Oh, I got 14 people. Oh, I got 15, 16, 20, 25, 50.
You hate to turn them away.
And I was like, I'm saying no to people. You'll come to find that is the last word I ever want to say is no.
Right.
So I went back to the landlord and I said, I'll take the space. And he said, what are you going to do with it? And I said, well, I'm going to put some offices because I see we need more offices, but I'm also going to put a 900 square foot training room in there.
Amazing.
And it seats 24 in the classroom style that you see that picture in. We've got 5 50-inch monitors in there. We've got a Windows PC, Apple TV devices, whiteboards, a podium. All of those tables and chairs are on wheels, so we can transform that room into. We've got like 4 different layouts, but we can do it in the classroom. We can do it in a U shape. We can do it in pods, or we can take them all out. And you can see a couple different views there. It's plug and play.
It's awesome.
We rent that out hourly or daily. It has access straight off of the elevator lobby outside of the workspace, and so it's secure from our workspace. So we can actually make this available to non-members on Saturdays and Sundays.
That's
wow,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And the toolkit, what that did is that at the time, coming out of COVID and trying to regrow the business, but knowing that this is going to have an immediate effect on our top and bottom lines.
Sure.
The toolkit was, actually helped fund to pay for all the furniture that went into there.
That's great.
And believe it or not, those tables and chairs, I don't know what it is with office furniture.
We believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, cheap. How much is this going to cost?
Yeah.
And then that gave us the ability to really build that whole space out.
That's great.
And now we're seeing
it's highly utilized.
Highly utilized.
Yeah. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So where can people find more information about you, about how to get involved, how to, use a space? What can they do? Where can they find you, Ryan?
Well, they come right to us. We're in Building A on the 3rd floor at 11 Apex. If you're looking at the building, you want to come into the entrance that's just below the Venture X sign, come up to the 3rd floor. You can always go to venturex.com and then search for our location under the 70 other locations that are around the world. Just go into Massachusetts and you'll see us there. You can give us a call if you'd like.
Yep.
508-375-3636.
There we go.
But I tell you, people, the website's going to do great. The phone is going to do less than great. Come in.
Just come
more than
see
happy to give a tour of the space to anybody that's interested to walk through. Take 20 minutes out of your day, see what we have to offer. It might not help you one day, but it might help somebody else that you know of that's starting a business that needs a mailing address, that needs somebody to help them get in the right direction so that they can become productive.
It's an incredible space.
Thank you.
It really is. And it's a great business you guys are running. And it's been awesome to see it grow and to be successful. And, we look forward to continuing to work together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. Jill, that's it. That's a wrap on episode 48 for this morning. And we look forward to seeing everybody for episode 49. We're coming up on 50 episodes, so that'll be exciting over the next couple months.
We should do a little celebration.
A celebration.
Yeah, I think so.
Charcuterie boards and all kinds of fun stuff.
Want to come back?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you not in March, but in April for episode 49. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.